Keep a fire burning red and a Joshua representing of a comes hard here. Big up Kidaki, Buxton Massive. Hey Babylon boy, you going like you like Camson. Red.
Never Joe, never Joe, Joseph.
Guyana and Guyanese, at home and abroad. Tune in.
Never Joe, never Joe, never Joe. Oh, money, never money, never money, money, never money, money, not know what you can even money. Money, never money, money, never money, money, you can keep, you can even money. When you been a for a bum, in a bill tell me money. Now because your money done, you come with conniving money. When you had your pocket full, in a bill tell me money. Now because your money done, you hustle to tell me money. Yes, money, never money, never money, money, never money, money, now know what you conniving money. Neighbor, joker, neighbor, joker, neighbor, joker. That's all the money that me walk. A 2 pound note and a kill that piece. A 2 pound note and a kill that piece. A 2 pound note and a kill that piece. This is all the money that me walk. I said money, neighbor, money, money, neighbor, money, money. Now I know what you can I be money. Oh, Joseph.
Guyana and Guyanese, at home and abroad. Tune in to Guyanese Morning Time, hosted by Kadaki Amsterdam, where the sun always shines. Guyanese Morning Time, the people call it Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people call it Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. We rise up early morning watching Comes TV, where wisdom and knowledge, yes, it is the key. Exposing corruption over land and sea, where the wicked politician they try to trick me. Guyana is a land for everybody. With 6 races should live in harmony. There's one set of people getting aisle money. There's one set of people doing the thievery. Beep, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. This is a program that you all can see, sharing your views and your integrity. Like it, comment and share it all around. Pass it to your neighbor, safe and sound. A sad situation going on in this town. The voice of the people is getting trampled down. Out of the mouths of babes and sucklings, which Jah has ordained me to sing. I sing Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, fooling the people. You're promoting evil. Stop lying to the people. You are a part of the cycle. Stop fooling people. You're promoting evil. Stop lying to the people. You are a part of the cycle. I say, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, they got Breakford, Bork and Mark Benchcop. David Hines and Kadaki Amsterdam. Sherrod Duncan, Nigel London. Normal Brown and Gavin Matthews. Big up Paslow, Port People Governor. Simona Brooms, Robin Simpson. Hampton Green and Winston Jordan. And yes, we can go right on and on. Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again.
The relatives and friends of young Quindon Bacchus, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of our in Boston, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of Peter Headley, they deserve justice.
And so when we say that Guyana is an apartheid state, we have the evidence to show.
Hey fans, it's karaoke and oldies night this and every Thursday at Club Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton. Dance to the magical songs of yesteryear by popular DJs and Camps Audio. Admission is free. Come out, let's make memories at Club Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton North.
Comes audio son. You burn this wine when I want you shine. The tree of life, them I want you climb. Cause them heart no kind. Comes I say them heart no kind. Buxton Massive. Kidaki. Red Hat.
You can get meat anywhere, but for the best cuts of chicken, beef, pork, mutton, and lots more, check out T and W Harris Butcher Shop located in the East Rheinveld Market Meat Section. Call us on 609-7168, 641-4494. Ask for Rastaman. T and W Harris Butcher Shop for the best in fresh cut meats and lots more. an Indian government. So go figure that. Dharam kill one. Killer one. Get up. And so some people get disqualified. How are you do? How are you do? How are you do? Morning, are you morning? Are you morning? Are you morning? Morning. How are you do? Sorry about that. Sometimes you get false start. It leads to a lot of disappointments. Because when you're getting there, other people is done. And so some people get disqualified from the race because of false start. Others get a second chance because the whole crew false started and the official decide this race got run over. So let me start. Good morning, are you morning? Are you morning? Are you morning? How are you doing? Welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time. I am your host, the Buxtonian, Kidaki Amsterdam. It is 19 minutes past the 7 o'clock hour, and it is the 31st day of July in the year 2024. I know what it may take off the label from this bottle of water because I'm not giving nobody free advertising. I'm thirsty, so I'm going to drink some water in front of you. Yes, I was here yesterday. How are you this morning? How was your last night? What you do yesterday? What you plan to do today? Are you talk to me? Yes. It's the 31st of July. It's, that day when we in Boston especially, we dress up and we fancy dan, and we go up on the Boston line top, and we flash everybody as them young people that say, or we show off as them old people that say, right? But at the end of the day, regardless of how we do it, we're going to be on the Boston line top this evening from 8 o'clock, and we're going to be having a rollicking time. Right? We're going to be having a rollicking time. Last night was the libation ceremony, which I promised to you I was going to bring to you, because I wasn't able to do it for years. I've not been able to go there and be part of the libation ceremony, much less to bring it live. The ancestors know best. I can't fight with the ancestors. I didn't get to do it this year either. Right? I did not get to do it this year either. And why didn't I get to do it? Because I left and I went to Georgetown in the course of the afternoon to tie up some business that I could have tied up in the afternoon. And it took me an excessively long time. You was there? It took me an excessively long time to get back to right? Yes, it took me an excessively long time to get back here. And so I would have just been murdering myself to try to get it done. But I'm promising, like I promised before, that I will bring you the happenings this evening. I seriously hope to bring you the happenings this evening. Right? So y'all forgive me now. Y'all forgive me. I beg you now, you know. Please forgive me. Gordon Collins, is it that you're getting no sound or is it that you weren't getting any sound? Because I think everybody is hearing me loudly and clearly. So I'd like to know, please and thank you. Are you getting sounds? Are you all hearing me? Or you're not hearing me? Give me an indication, please. Please and thank you. Here's a Marshall. If you're on the live, good morning. I've received your instructions and I shall act accordingly. Okay? Yes, I shall act accordingly. Yes, folks, indicate to me whether or not you're getting sound because I don't want y'all not to hear these things. All right, loud and clear. Yes, loud and clear. Yes, loud and clear. Good. Now we got some things to talk about. It's 7:30. I want to tell you all this. First and foremost, yesterday I told you that Brutus was apparently on the lam, according to my sources. Good. This morning I'm told that the man is only missing for a short time, but the man is back here apparently. He was seen yesterday in Woodford Avenue area or somewhere around that space. Himself and wife, I think. Good. So let's get that out of the way. My most recent update on Brutus is that he is in the jurisdiction. Whether or not the Guyana Police Force knows that, or whether or not the Guyana Police Force has been able to make contact with him, whether or not he has accepted their invitation, all of that is still to be known. I think it is the Guyana Police Force which has a responsibility of publicizing for the public's benefit and for its own credibility what is the current status of that investigation of financial impropriety. Right? Good. So that's out of the way. That is out of the way, and it's out of the way quick. I want to also inform you that I was served with a lawyer's letter yesterday. Yes, I was served with a lawyer's letter yesterday, and I will share its contents with you because guess what? This is your program as well as it is mine. And like I usually say, I don't have anything in my closets. And since I don't have anything in my closets or closet, you know, get on for hide. Any opportunity we get to share anything that I will share it. So the letter is on the screen, and those of you who can see the letter, you can start reading it for yourself. Because I know you're brilliant people, you're not intellectually lazy. but I will read it for you also. So those of you who can see it, you can have a good read. You can have a good read. Have a good read. I like it myself because it's the last day of July. And because it's the last day of July, can't celebrate into August. I got to stop today. No, I will forever celebrate life. I won't be celebrating a birth anniversary into August. I said I do it up to the end of July. I do it for a month. But I will live, and I will continue to live an abundant life. Right? Good. So if they didn't know, tell them now that I said so. Let's read this letter so that we can proceed. As the boys say, as we proceed with regular programming. Liksham Nitya Sharna Kisun, attorney at law. Dated 24th July 2024, that would have been about a week ago. Dear Mr. Amsterdam, I am instructed by Mr. Calvin Butas, attorney at law and assistant commissioner of police. I am instructed that on February 14th, that's Valentine's Day, dear love. I'm instructed that on February 14th, 2024, you made the following defamatory and libelous statements on your live broadcast on CAMS TV Facebook program. To wit, quote, CAMS TV, quote, the deputy commissioner entrusted with decision-making responsibilities regarding departmental goods is engaged in corrupt practices. Shockingly, he is purportedly utilizing his wife's business to supply a variety of goods to the department. And origin report of corruption and nepotism within the Guyana Police Force. I don't necessarily understand that last statement, so I'm wondering. I don't speak like that, but let's see. Quote, second paragraph, ellipsis means something when before that. According to my understanding, no serving member of the public service should have a business of which they are the principal operator, the principal of a business, private business. That sounds really disjointed. Maliciously intending to inform reference to my client to perceive for public view that my client, who is a dedicated and respected serving senior member of the Guyana Police Force, is engaged in corrupt practices by being unlawfully involved in business with his employer as a public official. I am further instructed that in the said broadcast on February 14, 2024, you read aloud from the documents of incorporation of Kaitos General Contracting and Holding Inc., of which my client, as you are aware, is listed as a director, maliciously intending for public view to, I have to get the second part of the letter to continue your bear strain. They say bear strain is for some people, but yeah, bear strain. Maliciously intending for public view to, and the letter continues, which my client as you are aware, this is the thing is repeated basically. Listed as a director intending for public view to perceive that my client has improperly benefited from contracts with the Guyana Police Force through a company of which he is a director, thereby fallaciously attempting to brand my client as a corrupt public official. I am instructed that the statements made by you and broadcast on February 14, 2024 on your live Facebook program, CAMS TV, are unequivocally false and misleading and have been made without any legal justification or authority. Libelous and clearly impute that my client has engaged in illicit activities and is wholly unfit to hold public office. Your malicious act of spreading libelous, slanderous, and defamatory statements about my client and his wife has caused irreparable injury and harm to their reputation and character. Further, as a consequence of your libelous, slanderous, and defamatory statements made on February 14, 2024, on your live Facebook program, Camps TV, my client and his wife have been subjected to public odium, ridicule, humiliation, and embarrassment. In circumstance, I am instructed to demand that you issue an apology to my client to retract by deleting the video broadcast on February 14, 2024, bearing the fallacious excerpts, defaming my client and his wife's character, reputation, and good standing within 24 hours of this notice, and to immediately cease and desist from uttering, publishing, posting, or repeating in any form whatsoever the same or similar statements in this regard, failing which my client will be constrained to institute legal proceedings against you without any further notice. Signed, Liksham Dan, attorney at law. So, y'all are now aware that I've been served another gag order, because that's what I see them as, gag orders. When people don't want to talk, them just sue you or threaten to sue you so you can shut up your mouth. The first thing I want to agree with Simone Blackman. This lawyer who wrote this letter is dumb and needs a remedial course in sentence construction and grammar. My question is why this allegedly corrupt police officer decided to go on leave by himself. They're trying to intimidate people and they should go to hell. That's the sentiments of Simone Blackman. I agree with Simone Blackman that a lawyer definitely, or the person who wrote the letter, definitely needs some English class. I can provide assist with that. You also need an apology. Fortunately, lawyer, senior counsel Nigel Hughes. And so I forwarded the letter, which I received yesterday after lunch. So I could still talk. It's not 24 hours yet. I received the letter yesterday after lunch. Right? Good. And so I still got the ability to talk. I haven't been gagged yet. Then shut me up. Well, let me say this. If since February 14th, I was saying these things, the same things that the government and the Guyana Police Force are now saying or imputing and now have a big investigation going on headed by Soku. Then, as we like to say in media, in law, and so on, this letter ought to have been overtaken by current events. The letter ought to have been overtaken by current events. I mean, by then, if you look at the fact that the letter was dated the 24th, it means a week ago. What was happening a week ago in relation to the allegations against Butas? When was Butas forced to go on leave to clear the way for an investigation into the accusations of financial impropriety at the Guyana Police Force? Is it that I, Kidaki Amsterdam, got a crystal ball? Am I clairvoyant? You mean me, Kidaki Amsterdam, since February 2024, could have said or hinted at a lot of these things that the Guyana Police Force is now investigating. Are you saying that because of my utterances, I've caused the Guyana Police Force to investigate Mr. Calvin with us, according to this letter? There should be a long string of people going to the courts to be sued by this lawyer on behalf of Mr. Butas. Because there are several allegations out there. Travis Chase produced, as they say, you got to produce receipts. Travis Chase produced receipts to show that $16.5 million, I think, was deposited and subsequently withdrawn or attempted to be deposited and subsequently had to be taken back. Right? There are receipts. I don't know. I'm not putting this at the feet of Mr. Butas or his wife. But I know the procurement specialist in the Guyana Police Force who used to run the quote-unquote workshop was immediately transferred out of that department and posted out of the region, and then eventually posted to Covenjan, that's Divisional C headquarters, and recently resigned and left the country. You want me to tell you the reasons behind that? Because there is corruption in the Guyana Police Force. There is corruption in the Guyana Police Force. Materials are purchased in the name of the Guyana Police Force, and then they're shipped out of the Guyana Police Force's bond and wherever else to go and construct private homes and private facilities for people. And so while currently they're talking about investigation against or investigating Butas, who many will argue the buck stops with because he is the administrator. Operations man, I think, might be the correct name. I don't know the ranks and positions and so on, but he's responsible for the daily operation and so on of the Guyana Police Force, at least up until he went and leave, perhaps. I'm saying while these investigations are focused on Mr. Butas because of allegations being made against him, because it is alleged a friend of the PPP complained against him, lodged a complaint against him. These investigations should be wider. They should be way wider than investigating Mr. Butas alone, because the thing is endemic. The thing is widespread in the Guyana Police Force. I know even former policemen who could tell you that their house was built from the Guyana Police Force. I had a female friend, I can tell you. I had a female friend who, at one point in time, when she was furnishing her home, brought home a whole, what we call a whole roll, an entire roll of, what the thing name? It's vinyl, but it's not a regular vinyl. It carried that thickness at the bottom and so on, whatever it named. A whole roll. Miss Lady, how you got a thing? Oh, you mean is the police side this work? A requisition fit for my office. Right? The lady office was her home. So when I talk about corruption in the Guyana Police Force, I know what I'm talking about. As an educator, let me tell you this, as an educator, the lives you touch sometimes come back to be a blessing. In most instances, they're blessings, because it means you got people in all departments in this country who can tell you things. Right? Who can tell you things. I walked into the Ministry of Education a couple of years ago, and when I had my private school, I was going to deal with something. And I heard somebody say good morning when they started it. Say, Mr. Good morning, sir. Please come. I was called up to the counter when they started it. Sir, I gonna look you after this morning. You could remember me? No. How do I know you? You taught me. I taught you? Young Indian girl. I taught you? Yes, sir. You taught me at Annandale Secondary. I said, oh God, you gotta forgive me. Those eons, those moons ago. Yes, I taught at Annandale Secondary. I taught geography. I taught the students at 2 terms. The only 2 terms they were taught geography at fourth form. And they went ahead and aced at the time the National Fourth Form Assessment Examination or Test, NAFAT. So I was that good. I still am good at other things in that too, right? So I could call I could call almost anybody at any department in this country and get information. Why y'all think I always say I don't be afraid to talk about these things? Because usually when I talk, I have my backings. As a matter of fact, the lawyer said, what? You read a certificate of incorporation. Is that what it said? A certificate of incorporation in the name of Kaitos, something, what? Kaitos what? Right? A certificate of incorporation in the name of Kaitos somebody. Anyhow. You read it. I am further instructed that in the said broadcast on February 14, you read aloud from the documents of incorporation of Kaitos, General Contracting and Holding Inc., of which my client, as you are aware, is listed as a director. So the question I want to ask, is it contentious that the man who was instructed this lawyer to send me a letter is a director of Kaitos General Contracting and Holding Inc.? If that is not contentious, then I don't see how I libel him by saying that. The other question I need to ask, as serving public servants, especially as a senior police, allowed to be directors of businesses or companies? I want to know that too. I don't know. I'm asking for education. Can somebody, I wonder where Mr. Jordan. These are the days when I miss Mr. Jordan. Mr. Jordan, are you anywhere listening? Let me know. Is it allowed? Is it usual? Is it a norm? Is it acceptable? Right? For serving public servants, senior public servants, to act as directors of companies. That's number one. Private companies, that's number one. Number two, does Kaitos General Contracting and Holding Inc. do business with the Guyana Police Force? I don't know. I'm asking y'all, please. Y'all please tell me. Any of y'all in the Guyana Police Force Finance Department, or say y'all call me. Does Kaitos General Contracting and Holding Inc. do business with the Guyana Police Force? It is alleged, let me say it is alleged, that the mother-in-law of a senior serving policeman in the Guyana Police Force does business with the Guyana Police Force as a supplier. In a similar fashion as her daughter does business with the Guyana Police Force as a supplier. It is also alleged that his mother and daughter has close ties with senior policemen or men in the Guyana Police Force who have to sign off on their contracts for supply. Is that nepotism? Is that insider, possibly insider trading? Is that unethical? Let me assume it is lawful. Is it ethical? I'm just asking these things. I don't know. I want y'all to educate me because I come here every morning and I try to educate people, but sometimes I just feel like I dunce. Like I intellectually lazy. Like I just come on this program and talk because I want to run my mouth. And I ain't got no backings. I don't have information. Y'all talking. I just want to be educated because I feel sick to my stomach to be ignorant. Ignorance is a sin. I mean, all of us are ignorant. Ignorance means not having or lacking knowledge thereof, right? So we all are ignorant. But man, this sounds like I'm very, very illiterate, uninformed. Check the finance records at the police force. So, I mean, they got Soku doing it. They got Soku investigating Mr. Calvin Butos for financial, or doing a broad search of the Guyana police force. Let me say that. For matters of financial impropriety. What I'm calling here publicly, as a public figure, I can't call on behalf of the Working People's Alliance, but I'm a senior member of the Working People's Alliance. I'm a nationally known political activist. They just call me name when it suits them. If I got, I ain't gonna say so because they're gonna try to prove that I ain't got. If I'm a citizen of this country, I have a right to make such demands. I'm begging y'all. Mr. Vice President, Honorable Vice President Jagdio, Honorable President Irfan Ali, Honorable Prime Minister Mark Phillips, Honorable Senior Minister within the Ministry of the Presidency with responsibility for finance, Ashni Singh, Honorable Attorney General Anil Nandlal from Annandale. I'm begging y'all. Get a reputable international organization. A reputable international organization to investigate allegations of financial impropriety and fraud and money laundering and all of that in the Guyana Police Force. And let the chips fall where they will or where they may. Let me see how above the board, the Guyana Police Force, senior members of the Guyana Police Force especially are. Because from where I stand looking in, it doesn't look as though they operate above board. For example, it is likely that if an in-depth investigation into financial impropriety is done in the Guyana Police Force, somebody gonna scream. Let me be hypothetical. Assistant Commissioner John Thomas, it's a fictitious name. I hope they know John Thomas. All right, Assistant Commissioner Kidaki Amsterdam. Is being investigated for financial impropriety. Kidaki Amsterdam doesn't work in a bubble. There are senior people to Kidaki Amsterdam who have to sign off on stuff. That's number one. They gotta see something that doesn't look right. I'll tell you all a story before I open up the lines. I think I'm gonna open the lines early. And so when the investigation is launched, first thing we will look at is the chain of command. A voucher submitted, it's acknowledged by the accounts clerk, it's prepared by the accounts clerk, and sent to who? The account supervisor, and sent to who? Whoever has supervising authority of the accounts department. So at least there are at least 3 persons. People like to talk about chain of custody, who have had an input into the preparation and signing off of those documents. Anybody investigating financial impropriety in the Ghana Police Force must interview every single one of those persons, including the person who submitted the voucher. So we're talking about at least 4 persons must be interviewed. And so it is alleged that a policeman named, like I said, let me be hypothetical. I know the name of the policeman who drives a who drives Assistant Commissioner Kidaki Amsterdam. Right? It is alleged that the driver of Senior Policeman Kidaki Amsterdam was grilled by Soko. He made certain revelations. What is the next chain of action? To investigate all of the people whose names are called on those revelations. But let me say this to you. Like they say, who won't watch man, watch man. Is it possible? Is it possible that in that list of names provided by this driver, people who are on the investigation team's names are being called? Talk to me. Is it possible that people who are supposed to be investigating these allegations, names are being called? And so who will investigate them? I understand from Dr. David Hines when Brother UC Kwana brought to the ear of Forbes Burnham that there were allegations of ministers taking bribe and misusing public property and so on and so forth. Burnham set up a team, a commission, I think, to investigate that. And UC Kwana asked Burnham, who's going to investigate you? And that is how the fallout came or started. I don't know. Right? So who is going to investigate these investigators whom it is believed are also caught in a web of corruption in the Ghana Police Force? And so here what we going to do? We're going to focus on Calvin Buttus because the public is calling for the head of Calvin Buttus. And we're going to hang him. We are going to sling him out to dry as the most corrupt thing in the whole of Guyana, in the whole world, in the whole Caribbean, in the West, whole hemisphere. Because when we do that, people will stop calling for an investigation into corruption in the Ghana Police Force. And so all those of us, the other 100,000 of them involved in corruption, going to be allowed to go quietly into the night. That is if Soko does the investigation. But when Scotland Yard, for example, comes and does that investigation, whosoever will make up, once the name called, they have a right to, as I say, wherever the evidence show lead, we will go. And so I am calling on all of them honorable whom we just mentioned to make the investigation honorable. Let the report be what the damn paper is going to be written on. And then Jagdio could talk about confronting corruption in this country. I beg y'all support me, man. Let me join the call. Y'all ain't got the email addresses of the ministries that I just mentioned. Send requests to them, man. I say I'm going to tell y'all a story. It is in the media. I read it somewhere in the media. That a manner in which corruption takes place in the Ghana police force is through what I might call, as an accounting student, the impress system. But I think there's another name for it in the Ghana police force. This is what happens. Every police station is supposed to get a certain amount of money to operate daily. What happens is, in most instances, well, it's the responsibility of the station sergeant. When the station sergeant expends that money, he prepares a report, sends it to his divisional commander, who is supposed to approve the reimbursement. I challenge any auditor right now to go and check the system and see when last police stations, especially in outlying areas like St. Cuthbert's Mission, receive their reimbursement. I know. I have seen the evidence where policemen requested their reimbursement, and it wasn't given to them way past December. And then in January, they were told, they're going to put ice bar, you can't get the money. The year end. But when you check, the money was collected. Let me give you another example of what happens in the Ghana police force with these outlying police stations, especially in the riverine communities. A policeman can write that he had to make 6 trips up the river to investigate matters or to patrol. He had to hire a boat to make these trips. He's then instructed to add to those 6 trips, 3 trips for the divisional commander. And so he might have made 3 trips, 6 trips in actuality. But now he is reporting that he made 9 trips. And when that money comes, he or she and the divisional commander splits it, with the divisional commander getting the most of it in many instances. You think any so-called investigator investigating that, when many of them are perhaps divisional commanders or have been divisional commanders, and fingers can be pointed to them? Who watching the watchman? Tell Jack, you and Ashley, I say. And the rest of the cabal, I say. Full attack. Full not listening. The lines are open. 6225933 is the number to call. You know, you don't want to come here and talk a lot of these things. You know, it's a small man they're going to pressure. All them police, ordinary ranks, and sergeants and so on, uncommissioned police officers and so on, they're going to target them. I heard a couple of weeks ago, I think, a recording of somebody at the finance department telling people they're going to check the phone and all them kind of thing. I want to see who, like my mama, can wake up from the dead and tell me she going to check me phone. That me buy, me same registering, me name, me own. You going to check me phone as me employee. I got to be damn sick. Call it life.
Morning, Mr. Kadaki and the listening public. My contribution this morning is that the PPP administration, that doesn't have shame. There's no word by the name of shame existing for the PPP. In this time of the year, they still behaving with them cataract behavior and their nasty attitude. It's something that they're in the DNA. And let we not forget, every time the PPP in office, the US been sanctioned them. And Clifford Akins must not, the police commissioner is not exceptional. Because every police commissioner under the PPP being sanctioned a visa take away kind of thing. And this is the kind of people that we think we could allow to get a second term. We must take a stock and study it. We can't get people like them in there for second term. Guyanese better put one and one and make it two and get out on voting day and make a difference. We can't get people like them in there. Another thing, I see a set of people migrating away, professional nurses and teachers. A lot of them making exodus out of the country. That is what these people want. Run the country down low, like a fellow said, you run the country so low that his grandson in the cradle could jump over. Shame. The sting dirty and nasty. You know, you have a blessed day.
Thank you for your call. The lines remain open 62259 is the number to call. You're tuned to the Guyanese Morning Time. I am your host, Kidaki Amsterdam. I saw somebody asking about somebody's asking about the Information Act. there's an Information Act. There's also an Information Czar. You know who's the Information Czar? Charles Ramsey Sr. The coalition did knock you off or put you in a corner, and when the government come, they check you back. Right? That man has never produced one bit. We're talking about digital information in not one bit, not one byte of data in response to any request for information. Trust me, not one has he ever produced that I'm aware of. Call it life.
Good morning, Mr. Kadaki. It's a long time I'm not on the air because you know how the work is go. But when I come home in the evening, I was listening back to all the programs in the morning. First thing I must say to all Africans, happy emancipation to us in advance. Let us understand that no matter where you run, you could hide, you could duck, you could skip, you could jump, you could swim, you could push whatever you want. You remain in Africa. No matter part of the world you go, the identity, our identity is an African. So whosoever want and feel that they are Indians or Americans or Chinese as Africans, kudos to them. But at the end of the day, you're African. And I listened to the lines many evenings during this week and last when I came home. And it's so hard to Mr. Amsterdam. It is so terrifying to understand where we are in this time of consciousness. What are you saying there about all these issues about the police and all these kind of things? It's expected. You remember when a house slave is a house slave? When I say house slave in the sense of persons who feel and saying, being key and making me money, doing have time with nobody. When you went in there, and they have time with me, so I got no product to make. At the end of the day, all of us are going to suffer. Why are you telling the man up there, they're telling the man to work that day, I said, listen to this. You might say, man, on the man, they might do the food. But you know what happened? I said one thing. The longest road have an end. Now you see what happened. All the information is coming out about who land the money, who land the money, who land the money. It's not now they're going on. We know what's going on from since years now they're going on. But you know what happened? As the time goes, your circle gets smaller. And you remember now you're abusing your power because the system where you're working under, you get authority to do your things so they could do the thing. Because remember now, if they tighten you, you could be vindictive to them. And allow you to do what you like on your ends, where you feel, listen carefully, where you feel you have authority over. You don't have authority. Because at the end of the day, who name calling? Who name calling? And while we understand, at the end of the day, never mind what you do, never mind who in authority, wrong is wrong. It might take 6 months, 2 weeks, 2 years, 2 days, and a couple hours, a couple minutes, couple seconds. One day, the evidence will come out. You will listen to what's going on. Because persons start, they running people's phone to say who send information. Why you want to ask the United States when the evidence of corruption, ask them for information of phone thing, who give it? Why you ask them find details? Before you look to solve the problem, you see where the scam was. Because it's not one person doing it, as you're just starting it just now. It's two ways saying, not one person doing it. And in every section of the system, this is going on. You imagine you're just talking about a small area there. You look at the airstrip with the building that they did there. Look who got the contract. And what the plan is there? You rectify it. Rectify what? You just touch it back. Look at the rules we're doing. No, I think that problem is the rules are doing the equipment, but it's the quality and the standard. At the end of the day, Guyanese got to understand that this country is our country. And I asked myself questions, Mr. Kadaki, last night I lie down and I listened to you program yesterday morning. And I asked myself questions. Why is it that we've been bought? Why are we taking a little couple $1 million to feel that we hire mighty and sell out to oneself up to this ancient time? You know that when Hindus get the religion program, the Wali, nobody can interfere into the thing. Nobody can tell them, I'll do this, I'll do that, you want to come and say something. Nobody can do that. The people that the program, that's that they program. You think now, they telling you what they give you. And instead, if you people come together and hold one head, what we doing? We form an allegation of forming an alliance against one another to divide ourselves. But when they give people that the religion programs, you can't be part of nothing. You may be able to go and look at the Hindu and that thing. You can tell them, yeah, I don't use a smoke, and I don't get 50 food or 40 food. I don't let it happen at the company. You can't tell people that anything. But when African told, well, coming in, you space. and dictating to you and telling you, we give me our own money, and if you give me our money, we got the dark. And if we dark and we give me all nothing, plus you know what we're doing, we get something separate from your own, and who they're using? The puppets. It's so distasteful, Mr. Kadaki. I ain't calling them Guyanese, you know, because Guyanese made up of 6 races. I'm calling our Africans Guyanese. And where we came from, where we are, what we would like to be. A lot of people fall through this system because all of them just looking for like money. We ain't got a problem with you all look for like money. But would you enjoy it? You hear how much millions of dollars? Not me, you saying that, you know. If you said it 6 months ago, we didn't lock up by now. You hear how much hundreds of millions of dollars finding people that come to that anything? Huh? Yeah. Why then you saying is like, yeah? If it was you selling Mr. Kadaki, they would then said, oh, that you said, oh, nothing said, oh, they're looking for sanction them and charge them and that kind of thing and say that you're liable or your statement was used. If that's not possible, they say, you're lying on them and that kind of thing and they charge you and that kind of thing. Mr. Kadaki is a such state. Something literally wrong with our people. How you feel for know that Mr. Kadaki is your neighbor? I like taking the money for this my own neighbor because of my personal benefits. At the end of the day, you're going to benefit from it. You know, they don't go down with you. Africans, tomorrow is African Day. Let us enjoy that day. Let us go out and support our activities and boycott the activities. That's what I'm saying to them. I want to understand. When they go to get the activity, must them the promoter must in there. At the gate of work of TCB. And then we going to support those we only keep a little money and spend it by we. Because then they didn't have time with you. Have a blessed for that here again. You will see me there on the 4th, which is tomorrow. You'll see me tomorrow afternoon. I'll be there. I'm going to come to you.
Thank you for your call. The lines remain open. 6225923 is the number to call. Let me see if you have any voice notes. It's 15 minutes past the 8 o'clock. How are you tuned to the guy now? To the guy in his morning time.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam and viewers. Let me Mr. Amsterdam. Look at this matter now. Also, these people silly. Now, the same President Irfan Ali, if we could remember, now the commission board that do the promotion had their own list to promote police officer in their respectful position. What Ali do? Ali didn't like that because you know why? He wanted these same corrupt officers now, Mr. Brutus and others, to be promoted into position that they are now. And imagine Mr. Paul Slow said that these people had pending matters, and you know, pending matters you couldn't be put to in higher position because of the matter. Now, what the president do? Dissolve the same board, and we going to appoint these same corruptees officers in the position. And look now, we're facing a corruption with them now. So why the nation should accept any apology from PPP, especially Ali? That's a no. Yeah, thank you. That's my contribution.
Thank you for your call. Your voice note that is. You're still tuned to the guy in his morning time. I am your host, Kidaki Amsterdam. Somebody is saying, good morning. If you see the mansion, officer, what you say? That when special branch building in joint service scheme, all of them in corruption. Yeah, somebody is saying that. That some officer, what you say, is building a mansion in the joint service scheme, and they want to know where the money coming from to build it. You know, regardless of what we say about the United States of America and so on, I like the place, you know. I like the even if I don't like the place, I like the systems. Because if your income can't match your assets or your assets can't match your income, then you know it's the government owned. Right? It's the government owned because you got to give account. You got to give account. How you, as I think it's Jagan used to say, you can't live in a donkey cart economy and want to ride limousine. How you living in a donkey cart in a what low income housing economy and you building mansions when you're earning low income housing money? And when you check the banking system, they ain't got no mortgage to you. Or when you check the banking system, the mortgage more than what your salary could really afford, but they see a good banking history from you. I don't know. It's an anomaly. Call your life.
Yeah, good morning to you and everybody. You know, part of the statement, and we're going to discuss the off. You can't know it once everyone they get out with. Anyway, there's a saying, it says, set a thief to catch a thief. And what the last caller Nota brought out, it is so true. That is the same thing. What the Mr. Slow and Mr. Conway and the other end that function, the thing that they had of having people given position in the police force, that is what they were doing. They said they used to comb it out. So when they produce somebody for an increase, upward mobility in the designation or the rank, it was somebody that you could say, yes, it's to the position because of their character on the job. But we all see how the back of dominoes is falling. I wonder how does in front feel now when you see this type of thing that is going on. And what he's trying to do is to get internal investigators to investigate these men. But I think that eventually that same investigation going to go outside because it is too big for Guyana to handle. It is much too big. And you put them to handle it, it's going to be worse than when they destroy the police commission service to put them in. So eventually, outside got to come in. And for the emancipation, I'm sorry I didn't able to come last night because I understand. I know you would have had something good. Because people, many persons, after being refused the money, after they were not given the money, they fall down. And Africans have got to make up their mind to start preparing for 2025 emancipation from now. Also, we all see what continues to go on, and I urge people that when election comes, everybody must come out and vote in order to have a better government. I know lots of people are watching to see what went on in Venezuela, and they are feeling threatened. With all of that overhanging our heads, come out and let us vote to get a proper government who could take Guyana out of the state it's in love. Now we get a water plant in Denhamsted. A few mornings ago, they had pipe running on the old train line, about 12 inches pipe, and they put it down. They said they were upgrading this well. Lo and behold, when they finished upgrading the well, the people in themselves cannot get water because the big pipelines that they put is taking away all the water from themselves and carrying it probably as far as Nova Flanders, close to grain, and probably it end up all in perfect harmony. Egg back, egg front, but themselves where the well is located has no water supply. You use your toilet in the night, morning you got to get up, go downstairs, see the hydrant going to give you water and flush. So that is where we are in the village of Denhamsdale with a pump and an upgraded water system. Tadaki last class. The little girl's face, it is still being featured on this
Rhonda.
on the comment.
Rhonda.
And
Rhonda.
I don't want
Rhonda.
the face
Rhonda.
to cause us to go into problems.
Rhonda. Rhonda.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, for the
Bye.
first, second, third, and final time, I have no interest in that.
Okay. Why do they cause a problem to that?
I didn't put it there.
Why do they cause?
It's in there on my account.
Huh?
I didn't put it there. It's not on my account.
Okay.
Because if you've been talking about it since I was a boy, I know it's no history. I don't know what to do about it.
All right.
Good. Thank
I
you.
don't want nothing to happen to me.
Rhonda, enjoy your day.
All right.
I love you as much as you love me, girl. I know.
Okay.
Well, this year that is starting,
Yeah, the lines are made on 6225933 is the number to call. You tune to the guy in his morning time. By the way, wait. I put up the cash app. I'm gonna put up the cash app information. Call it your life.
Yes, Mr. Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam, and good morning, everyone in the Guyanese diaspora. Good morning to all Guyanese. Mr. Amsterdam, I wanted to talk briefly about what I saw on the news yesterday dealing with a case. Can you hear me properly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The case before the CCJ, and I recommend that every person on this show who has been interested in what's been happening politically in Guyana, we should urgently look at these cases on YouTube. The case is called a hearing of the appeal. The AG of Guyana and two others, Christopher versus Christopher Jones and the Speaker of the National Assembly. I take that being Mansour Nadir. This case was heard yesterday in the CCJ. We should go ahead and listen to it and don't get impatient. Listen to the entire case. And you hear the things that are jumping out there. You take notes concerning the list, concerning those persons who we have been saying that have been squatting in those seats, those parliamentary secretaries, considering the slate, considering the numbers which some of the justices are asking. How could it possibly be that theoretically, on paper, Guyana's parliament, the National Assembly, has numbers that could reach between 300 or potentially 1,000 members on a slate for the National Assembly? The justices are asking, what sort of a system does Guyana have? The justices were asking, if you have an election happening, how is it that the voters are not able to choose who they're voting for? And the justices are asking, well, what is this secret ballot? And the representatives of a slate, I take that being Jack Dill or President Granger, what's that all about? And why the secrecy? These are questions that several justices are asking. One justice went to say that has got to be the most bizarre thing, I'm paraphrasing, he has heard. It is though you're playing some type of guess game as to what's really going on. When you cast your ballot, who you casting your ballot for? Now these justices have read the case and they want to know what's really going on. So I recommend that we listen to that case. And you could come away with your own opinions as to what's really going on, because we've been talking about the ambiguity, the uncertainty of this whole electoral system that we have got. Many of us on this show have been questioning that. Right? That how could such a system be? Right? So, secondly, a few days ago, and well, about 2 days ago, you know, we're spiritual people. And
Hi, hello, good morning. Waham. Morning, are you morning? How are you doing? It's liberation morning. It's emancipation morning. Emancipation bill done pass. So Bakraman and Yam Lang grass. Emancipation bill done pass. So Bakraman and Yam Lang grass. How are you doing? Are you all right? Somebody call me. Let me see what they want. Everybody got the right to call me. Yes, sir. As we were saying, morning, how are you doing? Liberation morning. How liberated are you feel? How free are you feel? Let's ask me pocket for one key. How free are you feel? Are you feel free this morning? Are you feel free from oppression? A different form of oppression to what Massa used to do? You know, I'm reminded of the story with the jackass. And you don't tell me nothing but donkey is a jackass. We got enough of them in this society. Jackasses. Prospering a lot. Sorry, I can't help it. It's the water in me and the heat. You know when water meet heat, what does happen? It's steam are pushing out. The sheer steam, pace and power. Yes, I'm trying to get this video for you. Lauren Garnett, you want to know where's my eagle outfit? I got enough. Yeah, I should know it by now. I got enough. But the fact is, I woke up and I started doing some things that I had to do. And then the time was upon me, and with the respect I have for you, I ain't gonna stop to go and put on eagle outfit for sure. Let me get close. My clothing doesn't define me. Y'all know me by now. You know I'm black at heart. Maybe the only African, the last African standing, is it? Right. Good, so what am I telling you? Can't remember, you know. Oh. The question is, do you feel liberated? Do you feel as free as you ought to be? Or do you feel trapped in a different kind of slavery? Because a lot of us tell ourselves that we're free. And there's a trick that them say must pull pan away. Because say, man, are you free, man? Are you free to go? Are you free to go, man? So are you going? Are you going? But it reminds me of the story with the jackass. And me say not tell me about no donkey. Me prefer the word jackass. Because they get enough of them in this society like Jesse James. You see, Bob Marley said me show me call me not call no foul. Me talk about jackasses and me see one of them named Jesse James start break. At least I must give the jackass name Jesse James. Jesse James sound like a famous jackass. Some kudos. Jesse James knows that Mr. Amsterdam's name must be spelled with a capital A in front because he's a proper non. And not only a proper non, a proper man. Unlike the likes of Jesse James, who does drink rum and lay down. Right? Anyhow, we get rid of this jackass named Jesse James. Goodbye, jackass mentality. Yes, I was saying, it reminds me of the story of the jackass. The jackass was so accustomed to being tied to a post, as we call it. The owner tied the jackass to the post forever. And then, one day the owner get up and say, hey, man, you get your freedom. Me not tired of the post no more. The owner lose the rope just there on his neck. And that jackass stood there religiously as though it was hitched to the rope. Many of us jump up and say emancipation, liberation come. But then when you look at our behavior, we are still enslaved and we accept enslavement in different forms. And so on this liberation morning, I want to talk a little bit about some of the things that enslave us, like disunity, like ego, like distrust, like selfishness. Those are some of the things that continue to enslave us as a people. Selfishness in particular is a big element of our modern day enslavement. Because we no longer think as a group. We think as an individual. I gotta eat the food. It's not my people got to eat the food, I gotta eat the food. And so if I am eating a food, to hell was everybody else. If I am eating the food, the person who giving me the food is a good man. So he could be oppressing 10 members of my family, but he giving me food is a good man. He could be oppressing the majority of the African Guyanese in this society, but I get in the food, there's a good man. That's selfish. That's selfish. It's like save yourself and let your brother go astray. But when your brother has gone astray, you alone are left. Who will defend you when the time comes for you to be defended? Who will defend you when the time comes for you to be defended? I just remember something I wanted to say yesterday. About a police constable reading or hearing the news of the alleged financial improprieties in the Ghanaian police force. And the name of the senior officer that was called in that investigation. Say what? $800 million? $800 million? And them bandits want to knock you off if you take a $2,000 from a man on the road. So my response was, so it's harder for take a $2,000. It's okay to take a $2,000 bribe from a man on the road. It's not all right, but we know them big buys a stick. And them same man just want to knock you off if you take away from anybody on the road. So in other words, what the policeman saying? I'm taking examples from the bigger ones. And so I'm saying this morning, when we look around us and we see what some of our leaders are doing, we gotta come to the conclusion that a lot of what our young people do is taking example from the leaders. A lot of young people are doing just what the big boy is doing. They gotta eat the food. So those of us who on this good liberation morning tell ourselves that we are leading anybody, we are setting examples to anybody. My encouragement is, hey, set good examples. Because if you can't set good examples, we're going to have further problems in the society. How free can you be as a people? How free can we be as a people? When day in, day out, we watch our children going to serve the enemy, serve the opponent, in what we might consider an effort to provide for us. Who calls the piper? Who pays the piper? Who calls the tune? A mouth is muzzled by the food it eats. If you don't serve the opponent, you can't eat. What are your plans to put that an end? I got some plans this morning I want to share. We as a people must, first and foremost, at the top of the list, do an audit of what we possess as a people. As a people. Start with our homes. I said this years ago or months ago, but I'm going right back there to say this. When I look around some of our homes, I recognize skill set in several sectors. Skill set that if we put them together in the home, we'll be able to start a business and produce something that is in demand. But instead of putting those skill sets together, because of the selfishness, what we've been doing is using those skill sets as individuals. And so we undervalue what we have. We undervalue what we have. And so we get underpaid for what we have. Watch this here. I know households that got persons who can make pastry, persons who can cook food, persons who can got an eye for detail, good interior decorating, persons who have good customer care attitude. And in that household, or coming out of that household, you don't have a business that, let's say, you call some catering business, interior decorating business, hospitality business. They ain't got nothing like that. Pastry maker working with Harry. The cook working with Subio. The interior decorator going catch it here, there, and everywhere. Right? None of them sees the importance of sitting around the table and say, hey, if we bring all of this together and create an agency, when you get hired, all of us get hired. Do we upsell each other? Mr. Amsterdam, I'd like to have 500 chairs to rent. 500 chairs. But I only got 300. But my cousin down the road does chairs, and he got another 300. But in our selfishness, all we think about, I only got 300. And so the response is, no, I ain't got 500. I only got 300. Use this side gate. I only got 300. Okay, then we can't take them from you because we want all the chairs from one place. You lose out because you're selfish. Or, okay, all right, we're going to take the 300. We're going to get the other 200 from somebody else. You rob your family because you're selfish. Are you helping in the liberation process? No. You're looking after you. That's one of the biggest problems we have as a people. We see it at elections time. And we are in elections time. If I can't be party leader, let me break it up. Let me study your name. If I can't be the presidential candidate, I ain't joining your party. I ain't got no time with coalition. I go in it alone. I'd rather me alone or me and my 5 comrades get into parliament as a minority. And you and your 10 comrades get into parliament as a minority. But the opponent get into parliament as a majority. Despite the fact that if you were to look at what I got as a minority and you got as a minority, it would have been a majority. We prefer it that way because I can't be the leader. I can't be the president. Ego. And so we have to guard against that if we're going to liberate ourselves. We got to learn to sit at the table and ask, what is in it? For us, how do we benefit if all of us come to the table? And if all of us take a stance? The teachers took a beating not so long ago from the government of Guyana. They were on strike for several weeks. The government play a smart hand, and I'm going to call it for that, a smart hand. Why? There's a rule, it might be a Teaching Service Commission rule, that says that on the first day of the term, all teachers must be on the plant. In other words, all teachers must be on the job, in the classrooms, etc. And on the last day of the term, all teachers must be on the plant in the classrooms, etc. There's a rule. If you, as a teacher, are not in school on the first day and the last day, you're considered not on staff. And so I want to believe some smart Alex say, hey, they're holding out. But hey, what happened? They know the rules. The term is coming to an end. They have to go back into the classroom. And so we saw not so long ago, all the teachers went back into the classroom, they went back to the bargaining table, and the government said we only have 7%. A lot of people beating up on the teachers and say they lose and they this and they that. But let us be really here. The teachers didn't fail themselves. We failed the teachers because we do not think as a group for a group. Is them teachers on strike? Let them teachers try there. Is them nurses on strike? Let them nurses try there. Right? But if we were thinking as a people, and we said, the teacher's problem is our people's problem. And so when our teachers are out there, we will be out there. And if we're taking that position from the get-go, then we would have had this government under enough pressure to address the teachers' issues before it approached the last day when they had to return to the classroom. You all hear what I'm saying? If we had stood with our teachers, then the matter would have been resolved long before. Long before the teachers had to go back to the classroom. But no, in our selfishness, we decide that the teacher's issue is the teacher's issue. And we want the teachers, in our selfishness, we want the teachers back in the classroom so that we can get our children out of the homes. Yeah? We want the teachers out of the classroom. Back in the classroom so we can get our children out of the homes while we go to work so that we know that they are safely in the care of the teachers. We see the teachers there as caregivers and educators. But we don't see ourselves as having a responsibility to support the teachers to ensure that they get their just dues. So our teachers remain enslaved financially. They ain't got no wiggle room with what they're earning. Our nurses have the same problems. Our public servants in general have the same problems. But they don't see themselves as a large enough mass, perhaps, to bring the government to its knees to negotiate, because they see themselves as teachers, nurse, police, soldier, fireman, etc., etc. They see themselves as individual groups. And so long as they watch themselves as individual groups, there's no strength in unity. And so the government beats them up individually. What if they were to take the attitude that teachers' problems are nurses' problems, are policemen and women problems, are soldier men and women problems, are clerks men and women problem, are all public servants problem, then they would have a different approach. And the government will decide and behave differently. If we take the position that Beirut problem is Boxing problem, is BV problem, is Victoria problem, is Ansgrove problem, is Sophia problem, is Mocha problem, is Agricola problem. And so when the people at any of these communities holler out that the government is being unfair to them, the people in all the other communities take a stand. Then those communities' problems will be resolved, and resolved quickly. We watch them bulldoze the homes in Mocha. It was Mocha's problem. The African Guyanese community, despite the fact that Mocha is the predominantly African Guyanese, and the people were suffering by that act of government, are predominantly African Guyanese, if not in totality. The African Guyanese community, by village, by organization, did not come out and say, well, hey, we will not stand for this. Knock another board on one of these homes, and we're going to see a different color of sky over Guyana. No? Everybody saw it as a Mocha problem. Yeah, see what they're doing to people in Mocha? Look how they knocked down the girl house in Mocha. What is all we did? We didn't take a stand to let them understand that when you mash one of us toes, everybody else gonna holler. No, because we're selfish, and our selfishness is not allowing us to think as a group and act as a group. And so we are allowing the opponent to destroy us individually. Right? Yes. So on this liberation morning, I want us to ask ourselves, what are we doing to ensure that we are liberated, truly so, and not really enslaved by a different form of slavery, like the jackass. Because the jackass, they want to say, I liberate you. Meantime, you know, on the post, I lose the rope. But in the mind of the jackass, he is still hitched. It is still hitched to that pole. And many of us still behave in that way. Here are our young people. Here are our young people. The man, and I'm telling you about educated youngsters. I got some teacher friends that I just cuss them. What? The man control all the money and the man get power. AP and you can't win no election no more. It best we line up and take we think from them, man. They lose hope already. They're dwelling on negativity. They are not optimists. They don't recognize that, hey, if every youth in this society decides, or every African youth in this society decides, them man oppressing we parents by, them man oppressing we elders by, them man oppressing we ancestors. Let us come together as a group and do something about it. We can have them removed. No. No. We look at our individual strengths and we say, I can't do nothing but it. And say the man going to win the election because me alone can't change the system. Excuse me. We're not asking you alone to change the system. We're asking you to join with others to change the system. Last night, something happened on the Buxton line top. And to say I'm proud is an understatement. To say I am proud is an understatement. I'm proud for several reasons. A member of the Buxton 1st of August movement, one of the organizers of the Black is Beautiful cultural evening, a Buxtonian, an African Guyanese. All of those things made me proud last night. It had to be a source of pride. When 3 leading African Guyanese men could stand on a stage in the eyes of national and international players and say, we all have the same dream, but we don't have a problem with each other having the same dream. That's my interpretation. We all want to lead this country. We all believe that we have what it takes to lead this country. But we don't have a problem with each of us wanting to lead this country. Big up yourself, Nigel Hughes, for standing on the stage in Buxton and say, I ain't got no problem with Aubrey Norton. As a matter of fact, the man has been in politics longer than I have been, and I have certainly consulted with him. Big up yourself, David Hines, when you say that despite, like Norton, I come from humble beginnings. And I think I've reached the point where I can and have the ambition to lead this nation. I have no problem with Aubrey Norton nor Nigel Hughes. As a matter of fact, I'm saying let us pick our team now. And then we're going to decide who leads it. That is putting aside selfishness out of a recognition that our people need unity. Our people need unity. And those 3 African brothers there stood last night and they declared that they're united in their trust, in their drive, in their belief, in the optimism of having the PPP removed from office. But the question is, are the masses sharing that optimism? Are the masses at that point of recognizing the importance of that unity? Or do we still got Aubrey Norton camp and Nigel Hughes camp and David Hines camp? Because here what? If these 3 titans, let me call them that, sit around the table and decide that they will join hearts and hands together to fight this government as one. There are those who are in one camp or the other who will see it as that position that was possibly mine is no longer mine. So should I encourage the unity or should I breed disunity? I'm saying let us sit back, brothers. Let us sit back, sisters, and ask ourselves, is the unity likely to get us into the door? And so we're going to start feeling the AC at least, versus the disunity which will keep all of us out. I am saying the unity is likely to get us into the door to at least feel the AC. Let us support the unity because it's a step in the right direction to liberate us from these different forms of enslavement that we're faced with. I see Gain Dalal hit Narayan, find the balls, the gumption, the temerity to say I am diabolic, I'm a diabolic sellout to the elite in my circle. And I know what the elite than me. Let me start there. I give due respect to every man, woman, or child, regardless of class or caste. But that doesn't mean I see anybody as an elite to me. I ain't got the mindset. The ordinary folks must live not from being smart of the purse of remittance from government, because the smarties like some of you are re-enslaving the peoples, whatever that means. Big talk will not full belly. Talk and rhetoric is cheap. You're right. The ordinary folks must not live from being smart, according to you, off the purse of remittance from government. But they must not also live or be forced to live by government from remittances overseas remittances. Why, as a citizen of this country, I can only pay my bills or eat properly or educate my children or get proper health care if Auntie Jane, who has lived in the US and worked in the US and acquired wealth in the US, is willing to send money for me to go to the doctor, money for me to pay my bills, money for me to send the children to school. In an oil-rich economy. Why? Do you know that despite the fact that we are pumping millions, hundreds of thousands of barrels of oil, our people are still dependent on remittances? Huh? As a matter of fact, the amount in remittance has increased. One would believe that it should have decreased because Guyanese are now in a better position to earn better wages and salaries because we are earning more from oil. And so the government will see the transfer of that wealth or some of that wealth to the people. But no, we still like beggars. We have the elders soiree here today, the feast, the village feast at Club Twilight. Yesterday I went to the market to get some supplies. Grong provisions, to be specific, because we want to throw down a metem along with the cook up and so, pone and thing, marby and so. And I had some money in my pocket. The person who gave me the money to acquire this stuff was right there with me. I am happy for that. Because as we made two turnaround, and I went to my pocket again, I'm sure if I told them, they might not have believed me. The money was finished. What did we buy? Wrong provisions. The rate at which the money was finished. You ask yourself what really is happening in this country. The quantity that you got for the money that you spent, you ask yourself what really is happening in this country. The United Nations report that a whole large, more than perhaps 50% of the Guyanese children below a certain age are not eating properly on a daily basis. It's not ISIS, it's them. They're suffering from nutritional poverty. They got different types of poverty. They're not getting the basic nutritional needs met on a daily. In an oil producing country, fastest growing economy in the world, according to them. And we're saying government should not do two things. Number one, give public servants better wages and salaries so that they can provide better meals for their children. Or two, give a direct cash transfer to every household with a caveat that you must, at the end of a period, show that your child has made improvements in terms of attendance at school, improvements in terms of nutrition. Those are things that can be measured. Are we saying that despite the income this country is earning, our children must continue to grow malnourished because their parents are not earning enough to provide the requisite nutritional food value for them? Are we saying that the government must sit back and invest in low-class roads and bridges and drains so that their friends and corrupt friends and cronies can get the hog of the wealth and the majority of the citizens go in need? Then if we're accepting that, we are certainly accepting new forms of slavery. And so I'm saying today, if we really want to talk liberation, those are some of the little things we must address. Don't look for the big things. You notice I ain't talking about no big thing, no big shot thing. I'm talking about simple things. A young lady called me last night when I think Aubrey Norton was on stage. And she said, you tell Aubrey Norton, they talk about Irish potato that's selling for $200 a pound. That is her concern. You know why she's concerned about that? Because she has a family. And she knows that $200 a pound is a burden to her family because of the income. But we got people sitting back and saying no. So demand that the government pays a direct cash transfer to citizens is to tell them that they must live off remittances. people like whatever that early morning clone was contribute to the problem. And those of us who listen to them and do nothing about our conditions are enablers of the enslavers. Stop it. Stop it. Sit your children down. Sit your neighbors down. Sit your relatives down. And help them to understand. And unless we fight as a people, put aside our individualism and our little petty differences. I'm sure Nigel and Arby got little petty differences. One taller than one. Why you must taller than me? Set aside them small things and group think. Start thinking as a group how we gonna liberate ourselves. As for me, every young person that I can help to understand the nature of business, I will do it. Every young person that I can help to understand that there's no harm in working with yourself and having a registered business, I will help. Every young person that I can encourage to, even if they're doing a government job, as they hustle, get a side hustle as private entrepreneurship, as private business owner, I will encourage. Because when you unhitch yourself from the government's pay pool as a monthly salary in the public service, and in your mind you release yourself from that pool, I think you're taking a positive step in the direction of empowerment. Let us encourage our young people. Let us encourage ourselves. Let us sit as families and determine how we can do this thing together. How we can do this thing together. The other day I was cleaning. I'm going to say this and then I'll move on. I'll open up the lines. The other day I was cleaning because it became necessary that I clean. What people might say is junk. I have a way of holding on to things. Not because of sentimental value, but because of economic value. And so the other day, out of necessity, I had to clean out storage. I saw a photocopier that I started business with. It needs a little fixing. But I did tell somebody, so long, man, you could come and collect this thing and kite and fix it and use it, you know, you're going to make money with it. They never come. All right, man, I'm going to just throw this out. Me here with the stress no more. I need a space. I have a pile of secondary school books that I've invited various teachers and students to come and check and see what they can use. I still got them. And it is paining my heart that I might get burn them, because I know they can be of use to somebody, somebody who's prepared for examinations and don't have textbooks. But then I came across some other things which I used in business, which I used to get a start. And I know the value of those things in giving you a start. I say, you know what? Despite the fact that I'm responsible for, and by God's grace, I honor that responsibility for the only minor in my family, my daughter. I can teach her how to develop a business or another business because she's already in business. with the things that I started business with and say, I ain't gonna throw this out. Come, girl, you see these things here? This is what you could do with them. This is what I advise you do. You agree? Yeah, Daddy, I think it's a good idea. Possibility is that by the time she's done studying and all of that, she would establish herself or her side business to such an extent that she can pick and choose who she works with or doesn't work with. And I'll tell you, it's not a whole lot of things. It's not multi-million-dollar nothing. But all it takes is to show our young people value in some of the things that are available to them. How you, right? In this day and age, I'll tell you this. I know there are people still without access to computer. There's still people without access to printers. There's still people without access to internet. And they're University of Ghana students. How can you sit in a class of 60, 70, 80, 90? And you have access to all of those things, and you have colleagues in the class that don't have access to any of those things. And you don't have a business. I'm serious. And you don't have a business. You gotta start teaching your children to think outside of the box. Start encouraging yourself to think outside of the box. Look for the opportunities, capitalize on them. And so at some point in time, you could tell the government, shove it. You could tell private sector, shove it. I'm using the skill to empower me, not you. That's a part of the liberation process. Nah, if I teach you to make money, you're gonna do better than me. If your children are doing better than you, you're in a good place. They might be able to assist you. If your brothers and sisters are doing better than you, you're in a good place. First and foremost, you must see them as an encouragement. You must want to achieve what they achieve. And secondly, if things ain't work out, they might be able to assist you. The lines are open, 6225933 is the number to call. I'm trying to really get this video of David Hines, Aubrey Norton, and Nigel Hughes on stage at the Buxton Back is Beautiful cultural evening last night. For some reason, I have it on the phone, but I don't know. Every time I plug it in, the phone only make a whoop, but I ain't seeing the option to share the video coming up. It's too big for WhatsApp. It's too big for me to. Oh, you know what? No, I can't do it like this because I don't know the Facebook story. Anyways, I will work on getting that video for you to see. Those of you who haven't seen it, but because I know by the time we got to that point, my device was dead. And so I had to record to be able to replay it for you. But you'll get a look at it if you haven't seen it. Right? 6225933 is the number to call. The lines are opened. It's Emancipation Morning, it's Liberation Day. Let's talk about what part we can play. Call it live.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. Good morning, viewers. Happy Emancipation Day. My message today is to my people. But before I start, I want them to look into this guy, Nat Turner. Right? Nat Turner, read up on Nat Turner, read up on Marcus Garvey. These two men who fight. Nat Turner at the age of 30-something, I think it was, when they were about to lynch him. because he was about to start one of the biggest revolutions over here. And he was a preacher. And between him and Marcus Garvey, they've never used the Christian thing or the church thing in their fight. But what he did when they were about to lynch him, they said to him, look, your God cannot save you. He said, but Jesus sacrificed himself. He was sacrificed for us. And when they lynched that man did not even flinch. One of the good things about him is that his revolution that he was started kept everything in secret. We have to learn that in a revolution we keep secrets. We have to learn to keep secrets. Marcus Garvey now, him, when he was doing his fight for us, he was offered money by black people, by white people. Said to them, keep your money. This is a fight for my people. I do not want your money. I'm going to raise money by myself and with my people. Right? This is to see that this is time our people decolonize our minds, decolonize our education, decolonize every single thing, our food, everything. It's about time we change our mindset. And for that thing that you talk about, people who stand by what we gonna do, these are the individuals that we don't need around us. Let us go ahead and do our fight. Anyone who turns to you and says, by what are we gonna do? Let them go down the road, because we do not need that negative energy. And be careful how you share secrets. And one last thing, for those who think that Martin Luther King was fighting a fight of non-violence, think again. And I'm going to leave you people with this. Why in the Christian churches that he ran in Alabama, Mississippi, and those places, they had a serious catch of weapons? Think again. Just think again. You just don't let those who are oppressing you know the way that you're fighting. You don't let them know. And it is time for our people again to liberate.
If you could imagine your ideal way of working,
Only then we can move forward. Liberate our minds. Thanks. That's all I have to say.
Thank you for your call. The lines remain open. 6225923 is the number to call. Like y'all didn't want to talk. Y'all frightened? It's Liberation Morning. The muzzle has been lifted from you, but in your mind, you're still in your freedom of speech. Huh? Okay. Well, y'all keep your mouth shut, because they say closed mouths don't get fed. And as I'm talking about closed mouths not getting fed, a woman called me yesterday to complain about what the police is doing to her brother or nephew. If you're on the line, call me. Let's talk about that matter, please. A young man was arrested by the police for robbery. A young man that has never had any brush whatsoever with the law, was arrested recently, months after. Call it your life.
Hello?
Call it your life.
You talking to somebody else, Mr. Kadashi?
I am on my live program. If you call the program, you are live. Are you calling to talk to the nation, or you want to talk to me individually?
No, I don't even know what's your topic. I don't
Okay.
even know your life.
Bad time. You know, that's another problem. That is what contributes to our enslavement. We don't pay attention to anything. We don't pay attention. You mean this person who called me here doesn't know that I am on live from 6 to 9 in the mornings daily? This is a person who utilizes the platform. If you don't know if I'm live this morning, what will it take? 2 minutes? Let's see if this man is on live before I call him. Those are some of the things that put us in problems as a people. Call it live.
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. I am free today, and I know you are. Happy Emancipation. And I want to say congratulations to Buxton and all the organizers. You people did stand out this year. And I'm praying that as the years go by, it will go from strength to strength and get bigger, you know. So keep on the good fight. And I'm saying, when I got up this morning, I'm saying Mr. Amsterdam is on. Bye. You have the energy. So keep it going. And God bless you as always. And to all my African brothers and sisters, we are free today. Let us take that freedom and run with it. If our ancestors did not leave anything for us, they made sure that we got freedom, that we can live different. So use it wisely. Thank you and have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. The caller said I have the energy. Y'all think it's the energy you got? It's not the energy I got. I sit down here and tell you the truth. I went into bed about 3 o'clock this morning. Because after all that we had on the Buxton line top came to an end, I still had, let me call it, tidying up work to do. So I went into bed about 3 o'clock this morning. Any of you go to bed 3 o'clock this morning would likely to have slept later into the morning because it's a holiday. I would like to sleep. I sit here as a semi neck back up bun me. Good? But I'm here. You know why I'm here?
Country.
You know why I'm here? Not because I got the energy, but I have a determined spirit. I got a dedication. I am dedicated to this fight. And the only way you ain't gonna see me here is if I'm breathing. So long as this fight is there to be fought. Of course, if they collect me and lock me up, you're not gonna see me for then. But they gotta lose me work. I got to come out. I'm gonna come again. In short, they will not shut me up. I am begging you. Somebody say yesterday they don't beg, but some people got beg. I am begging y'all. Show some of the same determination, man. How many of you click share this morning on the program? Those of you who are weak. And let me tell you something. And you know, sometimes I look at these things and I laugh. Or I smile. When I look at the numbers this morning, they are just about half. Believe me, it is just about half of the number of persons who would view this program daily. Where the other half they? They're slumbering on Liberation morning. Well, I stayed up late last night and I watched a thing from Boxer. I gonna sleep till 12 o'clock today. Well, I got out and down tonight at Martino's. The government got a whole free show to corral black people and get them misguidance today. So I gonna sleep early because tonight I got and down by the free show. You're going to contribute to your enslavement. So I'm here this morning not because I got the energy, but because I am dedicated to the cause and I recognize the importance of being here daily to keep you informed and aware. Right? To keep you informed and aware. You can't sleep on a moving train. You can't sleep on the battlefield. Tired? But you see, tiredness is a state of mind. I told my son that the other day. Tiredness is a state of mind. When you got an objective, don't let tiredness come in your way. It's just another stepping stone. Call your life.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Amsterdam, and good morning, everyone in the Guyanese diaspora. Good morning to all African Guyanese and all Guyanese people on this beautiful Emancipation Day. I could just imagine what our ancestors were thinking. You know,
imagine what they're thinking now.
Yeah.
Them lame ass people that come from my spine.
You know, I try to put myself. Well, let me say, when I was taught, I was taught to think what the ancestors were thinking. That's how I learned. That's how people were teaching me about the struggle. They always try with libation and all this type of stuff. You try to put yourself back into the spirits or the mindset of the ancestors. And this is why I always talk about, if you notice, one of the main themes of my conversation is predicated upon the contribution of our people, because the contribution says, no for then and then for now. It says, let's base our fight on what our people were doing. Let's continue that fight. And I think when we do that, we tend to reconnect. We force ourselves as part of the preparation for emancipation is that we must connect. We reconnect because we are trying to connect to continue. Right? We connect so we could continue. In this world, there are vibrations. Thought is said to travel at 24 billion miles per second. And sometimes you will have a thought and you say, I'm thinking the same thing, because thought travels. Thought is electrical impulse and it travels. So I could have the thought and Mr. Amsterdam could have the thought, around the lane could have the same thought at different times. It travels around. Thought is electrical frequency. It goes in my head, it goes in your head. That's why someone in another part of the planet would have the same thought and the same ideas. But how is that possible? I'm getting at it. Being that thought travels, then the thought of our ancestors are still floating around out there. Energy remains perpetual. And the energies of Kofi and Akrabe and Damien, those thoughts are still out there. Just to show you something about thought. And I spoke yesterday about my ancestors. This is really about thought. Do you know on a few years ago, about a decade or two ago, the Americans picked up a SS message that was sent since World War II. They picked it up. It was a frequency floating around and they picked it up.
from the antennas and descrambled it. How is that possible? So thoughts are electrical impulses and energies. And ancestral thoughts are still out there. And the more we connect ourselves to our ancestral thoughts, I think we'll be better able to align ourselves. Now, I also want to talk about our contribution, because that's my contribution. And I was saying that I wonder if I can inspire people to guess or to try to quiz themselves as to how many things around Georgetown that Africans built. The church behind Democode I talked about yesterday was called St. Andrew's Kirk. St. Andrew's Kirk was built by the Dutch. The British took over in 1814, and St. Andrew's Kirk was built just a few years before that. That's an African contribution. The Dutch want to build it, but the people who did the hammering, the sewing, and the work, the Africans. What about the courthouse? Because we need to see ourselves in Guyana, apart from 1966. We need to see ourselves back in 1763. That's why I talked about Kaikoverall. Who you think dug the foundation for Kaikoverall and laid those bricks? The British, the Dutch did, it was their idea, but who did the work? Who always does the work? People say, who built Washington, D.C.? Of course, the African slaves built Washington, D.C. in those buildings. So we need to question ourselves as to how many other things in and around Georgetown. The bandstand. Who do you think built that bandstand? Of course, we know by now who built the seawalls. So I challenge us on this show to come up with our own list of things for today. Of things which Guyanese built, that you know that Guyanese built. African Guyanese built, sorry. What does that do? That reasserts the fact of our undeniable contributions. And we stamp our approval culturally, academically. And from there, we can assert our belonging. Because a lot of us don't really know that we belong. Right? We look at emancipation, what does it mean to be a Guyanese? A lot of us don't really know that. There is nothing phrased that says this is what it means to be a Guyanese. What does it mean to you to say I am a Guyanese? What does it mean? I'm pretty sure if I ask some Guyanese Americans what it means to be American, they could tell you. They have a basic idea. So what's the basic idea that says that I am a Guyanese? What is it? Kaicho Falls? What is it? Kaikoverall? What is it? Coffee's Monument? What is it? What is it? The crack. What is it that makes you an African Guyanese? That you could coin and paint a picture to know more of ourselves, freeze ourselves from the colonial definition of what the colonials has defined for us to identify ourselves. See, this is the renewal. The Bible says, for those Christians, said, how can I be born again and not come through the womb of my mother? And I think the Bible says, by the renewal of the mind. So Bob Marley says, emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. So these are the things. I know it may seem a bit preachy, but there's a reason behind what I'm saying. Because the more expeditiously we identify with our contributions, it means we get rid of the colonial definition of who we are, and we reassert
who we are as Guyanese. And we can start from there. Once again, Mr. Amsterdam, happy Emancipation Day to all Guyanese, wherever we may be in the diaspora. Thank you for taking the call.
Thank you for calling.
Yes, sir.
Let's remain open. 6225933 is the number to call. We're to the Guyanese morning time. It's 7 minutes to the 9 o'clock hour, so y'all best make use of this 7 minutes because it happen. I got things I can do. You know, when I dedicate myself to something, I am the kind of person who really does dedicate the energy, yeah. And today I dedicate myself to doing stuff for the elders, along with the 1st of August movement and so on. So we dep on it. Pot cook, right? Pot got to cook, so I don't think I can sit down here until the sleeper is awake. Call it life.
Good morning, Kadaki. Happy Emancipation. I was watching last night. It was well done. Great job. You and Dr. Hines have it locked.
Go ahead, caller. I'm listening. I had a thought, but I changed my mind. I'm not going to say that. Go ahead.
Oh, I just called to tell you guys did a great job. And just keep it up. God is good.
Thank you. Yes, I'm happy that I could have brought a section of the live last night to you. Again, I'm proving in my mind the value of CAMS TV. I don't know how many of you place that kind of premium value on CAMS TV, but I certainly following last night again, determined that, you know, Amsterdam, you got to do this thing. This thing got to be done by you. If you do it, and that's one of my problems. If you do it, it ain't doing right. Good. Many people come into my space, see me working, they see me working, they see me working, they see me doing this, doing that, doing the other, running here, running there, running. And I'm sure they ask themselves, why this man doesn't get people to help him? Why he has to be doing all of this by himself? Sometimes with the help of his son or two persons. Why? Because here what happened? Hello, y'all be careful. I'm on here. They're in the kitchen, so they're running them. Yes. But I usually say, I said it to my daughter the other day, I don't ask people to do certain things to me because I hate to have people do something and I gotta go and do it back. I hate to have people do something for me and I have to go and do it over. It didn't make sense. It's a waste of energy. Yesterday, earlier in the day, I was talking about preparation for the Emancipation evening and so on. And I was told, listen, XYZ person is going to be streaming tonight. I said, all right, if they're going to be streaming, then CAMS TV doesn't have to stream. I will simply share the stream. Good? Because I could free myself up to do something else because it was certainly needed that I do something else with my time. But in the middle of maybe the first 15, 20, 30 minutes, I don't know how long that stream lasts for, of this person or persons streaming. I got a call, Mr. Amsterdam, you're not streaming? I said, no, this folks streaming, check this platform and so on. So Mr. Amsterdam, think choppy, we didn't even know what's going on. When I went across to the site and I checked, it says this person was live. So the stream was cut. And I inquired, I say, I understand that the stream cut. The person said, Mr. Amsterdam, yeah, we know. We're recording it and we're going to show it immediately after. That's not the deal. That's not what we're accustomed to. We are accustomed to seeing live, a few seconds delay to those who are on the ground. So I know how to come and get my, I didn't intend streaming with a basic phone. I really wanted to, like I told you, I really wanted to give you a good production. I just had to grab my phone and go live so that you guys could see what was happening. And I'm happy that you got to see up to whenever the battery life lasted on the phone. And I recorded the rest of it so that I can show it to you. Especially that section where those three brothers were on the stage. I have it on record. I have to now work at extracting it to my computer so I can share it to you. Right? So I have determined in my mind, and I'm saying it again, certain things you want done, you got to do it yourself. So the next time we got a big event, like the UC Quayana Emancipation Symposium, I'm preparing to do it myself. Again, when I talk about this now, I'm quivering because I realize the amount of work I just take on again. I was saying to my brother last night, after today, the first, I should have a little time for myself. We're going to hang, we're going to gaff, we're going, I have visitors and so on. I'm going to get to carry them to walk and see historical sites and so on. But I just realized if I want the best production out of Tipperary Hall on Symposium Day, which is the 4 days, 3 days from now, I got to go over there with the assistance of my son. I know for a fact. I can't do it alone in this instance. And ensure that the internet is in order. Put systems in place to ensure that we can get access to internet that is reliable, so you get a reliable stream. And I know they don't have certain kind of equipment, so I know that we got drug equipment from here and carry it. And again, in my mind, I'm going to donate that part of the equipment that is used there to Tipperary Hall. So hopefully others don't get the same issues we get over and over and over. Right? But people don't see that because you see the end product or you see the front, what they call it, the front shop. You don't see the production facility at the back. And some people take it for granted that we see all that went on. And that's why I was tempted to say just now, we see by this scholar, you were happy to be a part of the proceedings. You didn't see the Cash App information displayed. You didn't see the Zelle information displayed. How you supporting the broadcast, right? Because it's data, for example, that we have to use to bring you that. And y'all forgive me. Sometimes I just go to these places so you appreciate it. I'm not bashing you. I'm not bullying you for anything. I am being real. I'm telling you as it is. We see and we appreciate. I know you see and you appreciate all that we do at Camps TV. But you don't get to see what is happening behind the scenes to make it happen. Watch. I'm going to be facetious. Very, very facetious. I want y'all to understand. All right, they can't get it off. I was going to screw it off. I'm going to get y'all a laugh for this. Right? I get y'all a laugh. You see this here? Right? You see this? Right? This is what we call a video mixer. It's brand new. Unboxed a day or two ago. I have not had the time to sit and really get to understand. But let me take this call. Call your life.
Yeah, good morning. Happy Emancipation Day to all Guyanese, and especially you, Kadaki. You all are great, and just like to say happy Emancipation to the Fraser's family. There's where the tree grew from, and I'm the branch. So thank you, and you go and take some rest. You can't go all the time.
That's true, but I can't afford to rest when the fight is on.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you all something just now. Continue. Go ahead. As I talk about resting and fighting.
You could take a 5 and then go.
Yeah. Don't worry. I'm going to take a battle nap. We're going to survive.
Engine the start, and when it said, okay, this is time for me, it is brought down.
We're going to get there. Don't worry. I ain't broken down. God got this. The ancestors with me.
I know. God always got you because he's He's a great man.
It's Kofi and Toussaint over sure and Warrior King and all of them. Don't worry yourself. We got this.
Yeah, you're doing good. You're doing good work, my brother. Keep it
Thank
up.
you. Yes, thanks.
All right, respect.
So I'm saying, before I forget that, I say I can't rest when the battle is on. And I want you all to note these little things. The government of Ghana refused to give to the 1st of August movement.
Hi, Kidaki.
Call the hold, please. 1 minute. All right, go ahead. You
Morning.
speak. You speak. Go ahead.
Morning.
Yes, Scholar. Good morning.
What you have? What is on in the village here today?
All right, we got the village feast up sideline now at my place. That's me at Club Twilight. That's just before the burial ground. That starts at 1 o'clock. And there's also a feeding or feast at the Boxer Market there, right inside Boxer Market. At Club Twilight, you have Super Cat one-man band that will provide entertainment for the elders. It's an elders feast, so you can come over.
That's what time?
1 o'clock.
By the market.
Please call me in 50 minutes.
Yeah?
Please call me in 50 minutes.
Roger that.
Good.
All right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I said it already. Anyhow, we're saying this. You are aware that the government refused, they withheld that little grant that they would give to African Guyanese organizations. Across this country, there's several organizations that they've withheld that grant from because those organizations are not dancing to the tune. I can talk from the position of the 1st of August movement in Buxton because last year we said we didn't want soup on we stage. Then give we the money this year. They didn't give us all our money because it's taxpayers' money. You know what else was visible? Normally, the police force provides traffic ranks to direct traffic. They usually arrange for a diversion to happen at Sideline Dam so that the traffic doesn't come to Church of God Road or Milwaukee Road, as we call it, where the events are held annually. They divert traffic at Sideline Dam and at Company Road. So they usually have rank station at Sideline and rank station at Sideline Dam. You know this wicked and vindictive and corrupted cabal, and I dare say the corrupt Guyana police force because they're taking corrupt instructions. They're supposed to know the rules in maintaining law and order. For several hours, did not provide that support which they usually do. It's only after Buxtonians that to turn back several drivers and tell them, not here, find somewhere else to drive. They sent a lone traffic police, one singular traffic police, for stand up at Milwaukee Road. These are things which I don't see because sometimes we fail to tell you. But there is a kind of fight that you got to put up with this, you know. How can a government, how can a government be so petty? And how can people, especially people from the oppressed class, because they're eating the food, side with a government that is so petty? Y'all tell me. So, how I could sleep? I can't sleep. I just got to bed thinking how to get this government out of the way. Through legal means, lest they think I'm thinking otherwise. What else can I do to get Guyanese and young people and African Guyanese to realize that this government is inimical to the cause of this nation? I go to bed thinking that. Call it life.
Yeah, good morning. Happy Emancipation Day to you. I totally agree everything what you say. I was to come to Boston last night because we normally don't have liberation in Georgetown, but all this regime so petty. They get battalion to collect the persons them who normally would keep the liberation in Georgetown, pay them money. Most of them are status. They give them money so that not to hold liberation in Georgetown. So we had this liberation as we normally does have in Georgetown. And when I heard that you had this Rondelaine sister speaking, when I heard that you had liberation at Boston, I had prepared to go, but I had to presently I'm on the machine sewing clothes for this emancipation. I got so a suit for my son going up to Barbies around 10 o'clock. So I was going to finish. I just finished the pants. I'm going and sew the top for him. I am so sad that I wasn't able to go to your liberation to see. I didn't get to hear anything because of cut out last night. I got 2 dresses also, so cut out last night. Drink some black coffee, say I'm going to get up, then I sleep away, go to the little boy, my grandson I had with me, for it up, and he's will wake me up around 3 o'clock. So from 3 o'clock to now, I'm still on the machine hustling to take. Anyhow, I know that the 3 brothers that talk, I know that they would have spoken good things and things for us black people to think, because imagine, they give we people money not to hold liberation in Georgetown. And how some of us so wicked to be own self. We see, look what these people doing, the audience to segregate me. They're running to keep thing at Everest ground. And know that every Emancipation Day, the others have their event, I think, but they shouldn't get a soul at the Everest ground. Everybody should go where after those things. When you see they got arrival there the 5th, you don't hear any other event, their arrival there. No. But these people so wicked and they mean to segregate black people. Anyhow, happy Emancipation Day to all, and you keep up the good work that you're doing.
Black people mean to be segregated because I tell you something. This guy is saying they shouldn't get anybody in Everest Ground. You know where else they shouldn't get anybody? Every single one of those spiritual leaders that took the PPP money for them to go and give them the services or not do the annual libation ceremonies should wake up and realize that all of the people who are attending their churches or temples or whatever they call it, meeting places, have walked away from them. You know what I'm saying? That's my mentality. How can you call yourself leader and you're working against your own people? And we encourage them because although we recognize that they're doing bullshit, excuse my language, they're doing stupidness, we could still go and sit for them hypocrites to teach us what? To teach us what? The faithist whose ego is bigger than the needs of the community is the faithist that you actually left in a corner by his or herself. Because they only got relevance when you stand with them or stand behind them or beside them. And if they're going to leave their flock, a flock that is notably oppressed, and go take the oppressor's money and leave the flock unguarded, then they're worth having a flock. Them church should be empty. Not only Everest. I tell you, I like joke. I don't only talk the talk, I just walk the walk. I walk the walk. If you're not for me, people, you're against me. Because without my people, I can't be me. Ask my wife. I always say this. Any woman who comes into my life As a matter of fact, anybody, man, woman, or child, and doesn't recognize the importance of my mother, my father, my brothers, and my sisters in my life, they don't deserve to have me, because without them, I couldn't be me. I couldn't be me. And I live like that. If you can't respect what is foundation for us as a people, what respect I got for you? What respect can I have for you? You leading a flock. Every day we talking and we oppress. Oh God, elder them children had none for eat yesterday. Oh God, and then sugar water, me give them elder, and me still send them a Sabbath school. But elder, collecting the PPP 30 pieces of silver when it matters most. And then come back to the same congregation, the pews should be empty. The Sabbath school should be empty. The elder should be seen as an outcast. Next year, any other given year, when the particular elder say they got libation ceremony, I'll tell them, go by Freedom House and do it. Anyhow, I'll tell you about this thingy. You see this thingy? I say I unboxed it about 2 days ago. It came late, so I didn't get all the time to sit with it in. This is a part of my fight. This is a part of the tool I need to bring the information to you. Costs over $500. Real money, US money. But it will permit me to do a better job at bringing the information to you. And this is how I stay. I dedicated to it. What I'm doing, I dedicate to that. It might be a sacrifice, but it's a sacrifice that is worth the while in my eyes. I owe it to you to bring you information at the right time, with the right quality, and from all angles. All I'm asking you to do is appreciate it. Do your part. Share the life. If you could contribute financially, contribute. If you could encourage somebody to share the life, encourage them. Whatever the part you can play, play it. This is how we're going to liberate ourselves. This is how we're going to win this struggle. I don't worry too much with me and sleep. I can sleep. I got time for that. When I was a youngster, I would have gone for several days without sleep. But nowadays, it is getting stole for me. Last night, a lot of you might have seen me walking up and down last night. As I said, sleep with it fighting. You know when you fight sleep for a certain period of time, it just left your body? And the cycle starts all over again? Must try it. Anyhow, 16 minutes past 9, I got the elders' meals and so on to go and look into. I'll go ahead and do that. I'll do your part. Bring out them old people. Club Twilight is it today. Bring them out. If you got anything to share on Cash App, let me put it up for you. If you got anything to share on Zelle, let me put it up for you. What your part will be. We are in a battle. And don't think I forget. A day like tomorrow is a day I will forever remember in the history of this country. We're a man who professed to be leading our people. A man who got into office on the backs of our people because we voted overwhelmingly, we campaigned overwhelmingly, we worked overwhelmingly to get him into office. Like a coward. like a spineless, like amoeba. Surrender the freedom of the Guyanese people to the PPP on a day like tomorrow. Yeah, don't forget it. 2nd of August 2020 must always be fresh in your minds. Is then going to say, whatever they decide is done. I can't use any other words to put it. I got one voice note to play for you before we go, with all fairness. You know what the voice note say, man? Song jumbled.
Yes, Mr. Amsterdam. Once again, happy emancipation to yourself and family and everybody in and around Guyana there. I was able to view the portion of the show with, I think, UC Kwayana's son on the stage and whatnot. Very entertaining, very entertaining. Glad that we could be able to partake in those festivities, right? And that was very important. I just wanted to acknowledge it to you because I know you have been very instrumental in making that come true. And what you're doing for the elders, I think it's a fantastic effort that people need
Again,
to see that
we're going to talk
that's
later.
what we do. That's what we do. That's
I
how
will
we
try
do.
to bring you some live
Once again, it's a beautiful
intermittent
day.
from
It's a
what's
day for
happening at Club
celebration.
Twilight
And,
later in the day. I will try to.
so great. Thanks for
Because
accepting the call and everything. And the
what
struggle
is of
continues.
utmost importance to me today is the elders having a good time, right? I told Al Christie to come down also because it's our usual karaoke night tonight, Thursday nights. But of course, the elders' feast is going to take priority. And so I want to see them big people who could sing to. So we're going to put on the karaoke and let me see how we're going to go. Yeah, goodbye. Have a good time.